entered at that point into our simulated countdown.
Lunchtime, kids! Hello, friends. It's lunchtime.
Hello and welcome to the lunch break for Wednesday, June 27th, 2018. I'm Zach Lewis, joined by Matt Stoker, and that's it because nobody else is here.
Just the two of us.
Just the two of us, you and I.
What has happened to create this shrinking of the lunch break?
You know, I don't...
where literally everyone has abandoned us.
It's true. Oh, wait, Anna's back. Anna's welcome to the show. Hey!
Hey!
Anna
All right.
made it.
Made
All
it.
right.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So let's talk about how we got here. It's been a busy morning at the RNCN studios.
A little bit.
Josh has given a tour to a bunch of folks who may or may not be on the show later.
Okay.
Stay tuned for
Can't
that.
wait.
We were running late. We figured we're just going to start the show, and he can stumble in blindly whenever he gets here. So that's the plan.
As if that's any different than any other day.
You know, Josh pointed something out to me the other day, and I want to address this. Have I been ragging on Josh too hard lately? Have I been hitting him too much?
I don't know. I feel like he's
I've been-
being
here he is.
sensitive.
I don't feel like I've been laying it on too thick, but I
little bit.
don't want to I don't want to overplay my hand.
He is slamming doors in the studio, which
You
is a
gotta-
no-no.
He
Come
is
on.
here. Josh Hart, welcome to the show. Hey, Josh made it. Yes.
Is this the shtick we're doing now? The yelling every time someone walks into
Yeah.
the room?
I guess so.
Absolutely.
All right. See, now I don't feel so bad.
That's how insecure we are.
It's understandable. The first story before I get out of this chair and switch with Josh, assuming are you gonna stick around? Or you got stuff going on?
I asked one of our web team to walk them back up to one, so we'll see if
Okay.
that happens. If they start to conjugate out here, then I'll take them back up there.
It's good use of the word conjugate. The first story for today's show, there is a trash truck naming contest in Britain. And I want to talk about this because we don't really we don't have naming contests in America, right?
We should.
Wait, for what? For
Should we
trash?
open up that Pandora's box?
Wait,
yeah,
wait.
let me explain. Coventry, a trash truck company in England, opened up on Twitter a contest that people can just submit whatever they think they should name a trash truck. And so people have been submitting stuff, and I got some winners here.
I mean, the reason why we do have these naming contests here, but
we?
they always go bad.
yeah, I
Because
never
the
hear
internet
about them.
always gets a hold of them.
Yeah.
And I haven't
Right.
even looked at this list, but I can almost guarantee that Trashy McTrashface is one of the
I was thinking that. Yeah,
is
I
one
figured-
of the
Trashy
entries.
McTrashface. Sure.
Trashy.
Some of the big ones we got on here, and these are called bins in England.
Indeed.
Anna knows that. Yeah. Some of the ones we got here are Binderella, Dustbin Timberlake,
Okay.
the Turbinator, Chitty Chitty Bin Diesel, Bin Kardashian, and Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Rubbish Collecting Compacting Machine. So there's a lot going on.
I'm waiting for a-
shocked Trashy McTrashface isn't.
I'm absolutely shocked.
or just Binny McBinface. I'm sure that's an honorable mention. Go ahead.
It sounds like Mary Poppins, like a Mary Poppins song.
Sure,
That
sure,
last
yeah.
one. To
Itsy
make
Bitsy
me-
Teeny Weeny Rubbish Collecting Compacting Machine. Yeah.
Right.
It's not bad. When you open up something like this on Twitter, it can go anywhere, right? Anybody can submit. You don't have to be from England.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in a
Really?
way, the folks in America who want to be trolls are getting their kicks regardless. I'm interested to see which one of these wins. And yeah, I wanted to have just a moment to talk about why don't we do this in America? I guess it's because people are savages here
It just
and
goes
would
wrong.
be horrible and would make
Yeah.
terrible
It
suggestions.
ends up being the worst possible
Right.
outcome.
I stepped out of the studio for a second, but we have gone back to preference the show Parks and Rec, where they tried this.
Did they?
And it went horrible. Yeah, remember they tried to like name the slogan for the town. on the show Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And it got out of control. It turns out Douche Nation.
Douche Nation.
That was the one, the made-up show, the radio show
Yep.
in Pawnee, took over the contest. So I think that's probably why. Is that,
Right.
you know,
Yeah. People get
in-
a hold of it and they go
And
wild.
I mean, it's got to be a PR nightmare, right?
Sure.
Because if you don't go with the winner, you're a sore loser, right?
Yep.
And but it's a whole thing, I guess.
That's why it should be like, I'm totally fine if like the city council gets to vote. Because if you voted for an elected official to get to sit up there, they get to vote on what you want to call, and it's a fun thing, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But when you open it up to the mass populace,
Right.
You're asking for a lot of danger.
Yeah.
I guess you
go
have
ahead.
to. I'm sorry.
No, please.
Am I just interrupting you?
I was
going
to meet you right in the middle, Josh. I was going to say, do the Twitter thing. Take like the top 10 and have them vote on those. Because I would assume somewhere in there'll be one that's reasonable, right?
No, because if on Twitter, if you saw
Yeah.
what was you said the opening of the show for the dump truck.
What's
Trashy
that?
McTrash face?
Yeah, Trashy McTrashface. You'd be like, yeah, I'm voting for that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that wasn't an option, then you wouldn't vote for it.
Right. That group think is
It's bad.
dangerous.
Like I saw one the other day. I was driving and there was a dump truck, and on the back of it said Dumpasaurus.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that they label their own dump truck Dumpasaurus.
Sure. It's not bad, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. You got to meet in the middle because it's a shame that we don't have contests like this because they are fun. I think, right? There's a certain amount of consumer engagement. There's something to be gained
everyone
there.
wants to be part of it.
Right. But the internet is a dark and twisted place. Specifically, maybe Twitter. Twitter's not a good place
Yeah,
to do
that-
these
No,
things.
Yeah,
no, not at all.
Well, if you go to Facebook, then you have, the grandmas
Yeah.
and the aunts and kids that
Sure.
shouldn't be on Facebook and are on Facebook commenting. So you get a bit of a non-trolly vibe because you just get more from everyone.
I think the internet will search it out and find it wherever it is.
yeah.
You're not going to hide from.
There's no place that's safe from shade.
No, not at all.
So we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, though, we have.
that.
I'm still doing
Whoa.
this over here. Yeah.
Whoa, I was just about to go to break. I was working up what I was going to say. You guys
wow.
are finishing your thing.
We have the.
It is time to go to
interns.
break. We
Yeah.
do have interns. Go ahead, Josh, please.
Thank you.
I'll
We
play
have-
the music.
We have coming back from break. We have intern day here at RNCN. We're excited. We're going to have interns on and put them through a round of challenges to see if they're up to task to at some point in time aspire to be here on the RNCN network. So we will be right back with the intern challenge. I believe our first guest is going to be Madison. So kudos to Madison for going first.
Like a brisket. I got ribs in there. Finishing off the brisket and the ribs. And I'm just sitting in our backyard, finishing off this brisket and these ribs. But hopefully for Canadian Thanksgiving, you get to eat a lot of brisket and ribs. How many of you guys are eating brisket and ribs tonight? Brisket and ribs. They taste doubly better when you hunted the animal yourself. So what are you guys making for dinner? Brisket and ribs, I hope. Delicious. Brisket and ribs. The ribs and the brisket need to be eaten. I want to try your brisket. I want to try my brisket. It's a pretty tough cut of meat. Ribs and the brisket. Are you excited to have a rib tonight? I want my baby back ribs. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. That is going on the ribs.
Sweet Baby Ray's.
Sweet Baby Ray's. Sweet Baby Ray's. Sweet Baby Ray's is very good.
Sweet Baby Ray's.
Sweet Baby Ray's. We have just applied the Sweet Baby Ray's. Sweet Baby Ray's. Sweet Baby Ray's. Maybe throw some Sweet Baby Ray's on the ribs and.
You know what's sad is that video was only 5 minutes long, and all those cuts are just him saying, like, "My goodness, that guy." And call me ignorant. I did not know there was a Canadian Thanksgiving.
Is there a Canadian Thanksgiving?
That's what he said for Canadian Thanksgiving.
Is that what it is? Is Mark Zuckerberg from Canada?
No.
I don't
No.
think so. He's
Nothing-
just international.
Nothing good ever
How
happened to
dare
him.
he? Let's see, Canadian. This is
Teasing, I
wild.
love
This
Canada.
is the Wild West show today because we have like
Don't say
tours coming in.
We got it all worked out.
Yeah, tours
It's
coming
fine.
out.
We got a
Interns
handle
are
on
here.
this.
She looks super scared to be here.
Don't say
Yeah.
that.
It's like
Massive.
could not be even.
Yeah,
any
you
more
want to grab
tense.
the bottom part of your microphone and you want to pull that to your.
There you go.
to
We
your
told
mouth.
you how to do this before we got started.
We did
so
not.
We,
so
yeah, it's
our
fine.
fault.
Sorry.
So Madison, first off, tell me your name.
I'm Madison.
Great, and you're in high school, correct?
Yes, I'm going to be a senior.
At what school? Do you mind sharing?
Yeah, I go to the Episcopal School of Dallas.
And your background is in journalism. Or that's you want your background to be in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess you could say that, yeah.
So are you applying to schools now?
I am.
Any schools in mind?
Yes. I'm hoping maybe Northwestern, UT.
What was that?
I have no idea.
Was that me?
That wasn't intentional,
think
whatever
so.
that was. So
No,
sorry.
That was actually probably. I have the computer still up, so
there we go.
I think we have another intern on the line, but not yet.
Got it.
Northwestern, UT. Anywhere else exciting?
I love Wake Forest too.
Okay.
So all great schools. You haven't picked any duds yet, so that's good. And I'm trying to defocus Madison, but there is a guy literally who just showed up in a captain's outfit, and I am.
It is awesome.
My ADD
Can we get him
is
on the show?
all over the place.
No
I would
offense,
love to.
Madison.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so-
he's got the hat. Came
we're-
correct.
Yeah,
love this.
we're playing a game.
Yeah.
We're playing a game called How Well Do You Know RNCN? RNCN is a company that you're interning for. Now, to be fair to everyone out there, this is Madison's second day.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
she's been here for a full 2 days. So I'm not going to ask any super hard questions. She should be fairly easy.
Right. Bunch of layups.
Yeah, layups.
Softballs.
How long has Real News PR been a company?
Since 2008.
There we go. Look at that.
Color me
correct.
impressed.
Came
Do we
correct.
have any sound effects?
Do we have a bell?
I'm sure I have something.
We
here.
were so
Let's see.
busy working on these questions, we didn't have time to put together.
The
Oh,
sound
wait.
effect.
Hold on. Let me make sure I came correct. Go ahead. There it is.
There it is.
Hey. A very brief bell.
Great
Yeah.
production.
Who is the CEO of Real News PR?
Jeff Crilly.
Oh, very good.
There it is.
2-0.
Anybody else want to ask a question? That's all the ones I know for sure to be correct.
Anybody else?
Should we
wanna
be giving
play?
you this quiz?
yeah.
Oh gosh. All right. Who are you supposed to be interning under here?
I was originally in contact with Samantha Knight.
Okay.
And then now I'm working for Haley Rogers.
And this one, go ahead.
Oh,
Is that not? That's
Yeah,
correct.
that's
right?
correct.
Right?
That's
Yeah,
correct.
there it is. This one isn't necessarily a question. How'd you get tangled up with the Samantha Knight character? Did you just internet, Google? How did you find us?
There's actually like a program through my school called like the Works Internship Program.
Yeah.
And so they have a bunch of parents at the school that have connections all throughout Dallas, and they find internships for people who are rising seniors.
And our company was involved in that?
Yes.
Color
it
me
was.
impressed.
Oh, wow.
Wow,
Yeah.
look at that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I would not have known that.
Look at us.
so we brought you down here with a challenge, and the challenge is you have to tell us a news story with 2 minutes. Under 2 minutes. Over 2 minutes, you're going to hear the sound. There we go. Yeah, eventually. Man, what is it with the delay there? There we go. You're
it
going to
is.
hear the horn. So if you go
Got
over
it.
2 minutes with a news story, it has
We're
to be
crack team
compelling.
here, folks.
It has to be compelling, interesting, and also newsworthy. So
Yeah.
there you go.
You got a story?
Whenever
I
you're
have one.
whenever
Please.
you're ready.
The floor is yours.
All right, so my story is about the comeback of cottage cheese. So, cottage cheese began as an easy, economical way for colonial cooks to make use of milk left over after they skimmed off the cream. And so large producers are now targeting younger people by looking for a protein-rich, all-natural snack that they can have instead of a full meal. So cottage cheese has like twice the amount of protein as regular yogurt, and companies such as Dean Foods are giving cottage cheese packaging like a better look now. So it's coming back, and they're now placing it closer to the yogurt than the sour cream, which was where it was placed before.
Wow.
I know. Cottage cheese usually gets a bad rep because it's associated with dieting. And here's like a little brief history. So the mid-1970s was the golden era of cottage cheese. So producers in each state were making more than 1 billion pounds each year. And in the 1980s was when the fruity yogurt caught on. And then in the 2000s was the rise of the Greek yogurt. So good cottage cheese takes time to make. It's a multiple day process. And here's a pro tip from some cottage cheese makers. They say to open a bag of barbecue chips and use the cottage cheese as dip.
I mean,
There we go.
phenomenal.
There we go.
Yeah, under
There we
2
go.
minutes met the
I love
requirement. I learned more about cottage cheese today.
And extra points for being food related
Yeah.
because this is a lunch break.
a good
So
one.
extra
Yes.
points.
Well done.
Well
She
done.
knows the demo.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I heard the tidbit that there's cottage cheese experts.
Is that a thing?
Yeah,
Cottage
that's a thing.
cheese
Apparently.
experts?
Yeah, you're going to school and hey guys, I'm studying cottage cheese.
You'd think the first thing that these experts would do would be to rename cottage cheese because it sounds awful.
It really does.
You know,
It's
in
a-
the
what's the
article
worst
I
name?
read, they said that they were working to rename it.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
What
there
are you
you
gonna?
go.
Any
yeah.
suggestions on what they might
Yeah.
rename it?
You know, I don't know. I have to say I'm not a fan. So
You had it.
I have had it before.
I think what they need to do is have a company like Band-Aid or Thermos or Xerox come along, have a company run their name on it, and then just associate it with that name. That's the subtle shift. That's the way to go.
Curdled sauce
There you
coming
go.
to you
Yeah.
to the shelf nearby. Madison, phenomenal job.
Well
Madison.
done.
Well
Great
done.
job.
Well done.
Yes.
If you want to go ahead and we'll pull in. Actually, let's go ahead and go to the Skype call.
Yes.
We got a Skype call?
So, yep.
Oh,
We
man.
do.
Cameron, hello there, sir.
Madison, thanks for hanging
Hold
out.
on, let me turn him up. There he is.
Cameron, how are you doing today, sir? This is our other intern. Cameron, tell us, who do you report to?
I report to Sarah Crilly.
Sarah Crilly. Last name Crilly. She's got to be important.
Right.
You would think
Yeah,
so.
you would
Last
think so.
name Crilly, first name Greatest. Real quick, for those of us in the audio business, does anybody own a pair of cool AirPods like Cameron has? Because I don't.
Yeah, I don't.
Check him out.
No.
Let's see.
But they do low.
I know.
Madison owns some. I saw her taking hers out
The
too.
interns have cool
Yeah.
headphones and we don't. What are we doing here?
Yeah, I
Totally
have.
real
I have
hard.
what Samsung gave me when I bought the phone.
Right.
That's what I
They
have.
don't give you any more anything.
Those don't come.
now.
Yeah.
So
Come
Yeah.
on in, grab a seat. Cameron, how's it upstairs? How's things? How's the weather?
I didn't understand the again.
It was a stupid question. Don't worry about it.
So
That
Cameron,
was
we're
me
Don't worry
digging
about
for
it.
time, so
we're
don't
starting
worry.
off. We're starting off the conversation with how well do you know RNCN?
Yes.
I'll go ahead and give you the same questions I gave Madison, and that is, in what year did RNCN start?
2008.
Phenomenal.
Man,
I think you might be cheating.
is that?
Wrong button. There we go. Yeah, I hit the wrong button and then tried to stop hitting the wrong button, so I hit it twice.
I gotta be honest. Samantha in the comments just like the interns are better dressed than me.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Sad face.
Seriously.
They're
better
stylish.
dressed
We
than
have
you.
really stylish
yeah.
interns.
Sure.
Oh, I think
Look at that shirt.
I think
Yeah.
that comes with the internship. You're kind of scared. You're kind of intimidated. You want to be a good impression, so you always come correct with your attire.
The rest of us
After
don't
you-
care anymore.
Yeah, after you've been
Right.
here for a while.
I'm here with
it's-
rolled up
yeah.
sleeves like
Yeah.
I give a.
long.
He hasn't said it yet.
Long hair, don't care. It's one of those kind of deals. Okay, so Cameron, we also have that question. We have who is the CEO of Real News PR,
Jeff Crilly.
and then how do you spell Crilly?
CRILLEY.
There it is. One day.
There
we
it
go.
is. Yeah,
Man,
hey.
that delay is killer.
That is something else.
So there you go.
Builds the tension.
You passed the goodness gracious thing. Thank God you passed the test. Now we go into the news story. So you were tasked with finding a news story that was compelling, interesting, and entertaining, while at the same time informative. And you have to do it in under 2 minutes. Are you ready, sir?
I am ready.
Okay. Reset and begin.
All right. So my story is about the Butchers Federation of France going to war with vegans. Today's story comes to us from across the pond, all the way from the French Republic. A story by the New York Times reports that the Butchers Federation is seeking police protection from the French government following a string of vegan vandalism, where they had their glass in front of their stores shattered, fake blood drawn all over their shop fronts, and graffiti everywhere, all over the front of the shops. While not particularly violent, these incidents have drawn the ire of the public, with the British Federation equating it to terrorism, and a columnist in news magazine Le Point stating that the enemies of a meat-based diet want to consign humanity to grains, down with totalitarianism, and long live blanquette, which, if you don't know, is a veal-based meal from France. The French in particular do not take well to people telling them what they should be eating. Organizations representing the vegan movement have denounced the attack, stating veganism is about reducing violence, not perpetuating it. Despite the efforts of these organizations and more radical groups, the status quo is not likely to change. According to the Agricultural Ministry, France remains the highest consumer of red meat per capita in Europe, notwithstanding the sacredness of food in French culture, which is unlikely to change. My stepfather is French, and I can't repeat his response on a live stream, but needless to say, he was quite upset with this.
Oh, wow.
The
There you
follow-up
go.
with
Well,
the stepdad.
I gotta
Yeah.
be honest. I do not like animal suffering, but damn, the foie gras.
Wow.
The foie gras is amazing.
Yeah.
Can I get a name for the foie gras?
Oh, man.
Yeah, and I like the correct pronunciation of foie.
Right.
As we say here in Texas, just foie.
Foie
Yeah.
grass.
Yeah,
That's
foie
nice.
grass.
Yeah.
Boy, grass.
Well, there you go. You completed that in 1 minute and 37 seconds. So there you go, sir.
Impressive.
Well done. Well done. Also,
To his credit, that was a story I looked at for today.
That was
so,
a story I
yeah.
submitted for today.
Now, I ultimately skipped over it, but
Not me.
Because you
I
deep
went for
down
it.
knew that Cameron's gonna bring it up.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
Exactly.
why. I'll tell you why I wanted to talk about this, because I wanted to grandstand for a moment and tell people how I felt victimized as a meat eater by vegans and vegetarian culture. And
Have
now
you
I
had
have
your
that
windows
beautiful
broken?
opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Blood over walls and
Right.
Yeah, it's been a whole thing. Now
Naturally.
things are great over here.
now, Cameron, one more thing before we go. We were talking to you about talents, and you said that you speak Spanish. Where there was some arguing upstairs whether or not speaking Spanish was a talent. How do you land on that?
I think it's a talent. It's something you learn, and I don't know. Like, how is that any different than knowing how to roll your tongue? Like, they're both things you learn to do, and so on and so forth.
I would think
How would you
that
define talent?
a talent is something that's inherent to you, that you naturally do. It's speaking a language. You can have a talent for learning languages, personal opinion. But I guess that speaking a language would be something learned.
putting you on blast.
Yeah, like that's like if you came.
No.
To,
No, I see that.
Right, like obviously we're in a different country, so it's not the same. But that's like if you came. It's like if you came down here and you said, "My talent is I speak English particularly well." Like, cool.
Well, hey, good for
Yeah.
him because that's not a talent I have.
None of us do.
So, how do you say Anna was throwing shade in Spanish?
Ooh.
I don't know how to say it clean. I can only say it
Dirty.
crude. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Wow.
I'm looking forward to it. Go ahead. You mean like dirty language?
Yeah. Ana
Oh.
era estudiando mierda.
Wow.
You're throwing shit.
Anna, is that
Translation.
legit?
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah. That you can say it like that, but I would say like I was embarrassing you, not intentionally, but I would say te estaba envergonzando.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's your Spanish lesson, internet.
There you go.
How to throw shade.
Cameron, thank you so
in
much.
Spanish.
Well done.
Thank you. Keep hitting my microphone.
Up next, we have Brian. You see him already in your screen. Brian, hello.
Yeah.
Brian is our video intern.
One of many.
One of many. Yeah, we have 2 video interns.
What's the deal with that? Why does video keep getting interns and we don't get anything?
I'm getting the impression they can't handle the work that they have, and that's
Ooh.
why they rely on internships.
Sure,
Clearly. They need
idle
all the help in the world.
hands. Shade.
So Brian, welcome to the lunch break show. So where do you go to school?
I am a sophomore at the University of Mississippi.
Oh, nice. When I first met you, you said, "Oh, I go to Oxford," but you meant like there's a school in Mississippi called Oxford. Is that right?
Oxford, Mississippi is
Yeah.
where Ole Miss is located.
You see my confusion. I'm like, "Oh, wow, great." But that's also a good school. Yeah.
Yes.
So. I don't mean
It's the
I don't mean
Harvard
to
of
be
the
a
But
jerk.
yeah, I guess yours is cool too. All right.
Yeah, way to
No,
save it.
If
We
someone
don't-
said I went to Oxford, or I go to school in Oxford, and I'm
Sure.
like, oh wow, I would have expecting like he was an overseas student, and
Yeah.
he was traveling in. I was wondering why there was no British accent. All these different things are running through my head because of my ignorance.
As much as I would like to hop on the dog pile here, I got to jump to Brian's defense because I do that with UNT. I'll be like, oh, when I was in film school, it was UNT. It wasn't any kind of fancy French film school. It was the University of North Texas. It's a fine school, but like you gotta watch your verbiage, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you're a senior this year, or you're a sophomore?
I'm a sophomore this year.
Phenomenal. And what is your background going to be in?
I am studying broadcast journalism, mostly on the production end.
Most on the production. Sorry, we're having a slight change in there.
My apologies.
Man.
Yeah.
Juggling interns today.
Valerie is going to be sitting in Matt's seat.
Yep.
Valerie's our other video intern. She was a speaker intern, and then she transferred up
Sure.
to the first floor or second floor. So you're going to be in broadcasting. We're going to do the how well do you know real news PR. Unfortunately, you were in here for both of the questions that we normally ask.
Right.
So we're going to have to come up with other ones on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say this. What year? This is going to be a hard one because I wouldn't have known this. But what year did Jeff Curley hire his first employee?
Ooh.
I'll give you a multiple choice.
Okay.
2010, 2012, 2014, or 2009.
Well, it opened in 2008, so
Yep.
I'm actually going to go with 2009 for his first
Ooh,
hire.
2010.
Ah.
Unfortunately, yeah. Well, not fair because it's and I just heard Jeff Curley say it up there, and
Right.
that's how I knew.
Right.
Wow.
So I don't think I would have passed that test.
No.
The other one is what's another good question, Zach?
I don't know. I was trying to come up with a funny line about after this, Brian finding a box and putting his things in it because we didn't know when we hired our first employee. Anna, you want to dig me out of this one?
Me, the most recent RN
That's right.
student. Well, I'll
man,
go
the guy with the cool
um,
hats leaving.
In what year? And I do not know the answer for this, so this
Yeah.
is literally, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Sure.
In what year did RNCN open up as in the department?
Ooh, I knew the answer to that question.
So, oh, you do know the
Yeah.
answer, so do you want to give multiple choice?
I'll let Zach give multiple choice.
Okay, yeah, sure. When did RNCN become its own department? The answers are 2013, all right, 2014, 2016, 2015.
I'm going to say 2014.
Incorrect again, Brian.
Oh.
2015, I think, is when we formally split it
Yeah.
off and became our own thing, but very close,
I'll go
not
back
too
up.
far.
Yeah, I'll go back up. Yeah. Again,
you.
these are questions that we would not have gotten.
The
so.
other
Clearly.
question I had for you, and this is one that I think you know. Valerie, the one in there, is she or isn't she an intern?
She is an intern.
She is an intern. Great, now we know. She's an intern. Cool. Valerie, you qualify for the next round of questions. Congrats.
Yeah, Valerie's in the production room right now. The deal with Valerie is she's here all the time.
Yeah.
Like she is. Every time you turn the corner, boom.
She works more than we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see her, doing like her little sketches in her book.
Sketches?
I'm not sure what you're doing in there. I just see a book.
And
I
it better be
assume-
work,
Just
is what she
writing
better be
notes.
doing.
I assume it's sketches. I
Sure.
assume you're doodling different things. Different things.
Instead of writing, she's doodling the ideas,
Right.
which is even better, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You got it
Yeah.
right.
Got it.
So we'll get to Valerie here in a second because I have my own little Valerie story. Brian,
Oh, no.
you have 2 minutes to tell us a compelling, interesting, and fun story. You ready?
Go ahead.
Go.
All right, so for everyone in China, thanks to John Oliver being mean, HBO has been blocked. As common, China does block websites, things that they don't want their people to see, things that go against their government. And John Oliver, as he always does, kind of dug into China, talking about how there's been a lot of economic success, but also the current state of President Xi Jinping, I
Yep.
believe it's
Jinping?
pronounced.
Yeah.
Who has, among other things, he's now become president for life and stuff like that. So John Oliver has started talking about the crackdown of political dissenters and how they've been vilifying religious minorities in China. And because of that, HBO's entire web presence, so every single show, everything they produce, has been hidden from the Chinese public. So like last year, one thing that John Oliver did mention is that Winnie the Pooh, the animated teddy bear we all grew up with,
Yeah.
was banned in their country. And as John Oliver said, it's because people were kind of comparing Chinese President Xi Jinping to Winnie the Pooh, saying, they all look the same. And Jinping obviously didn't like that. So now you can't see Winnie the Pooh in their country either. So no Westworld, no Winnie the Pooh, no Game of Thrones. It's a shame. But for Chinese users who might be listening in, if any, VPNs are still available, and VPNs do work. So if we're going international, use a VPN. You'll be safe.
I love that Brian presents a problem and a solution.
Yeah.
Well done,
Always.
Brian.
Yeah. 137. Well done, Brian.
I dig it. I love that China is now banning HBO. All the things I've seen on HBO, all the dark, twisted stuff, the Game of Thrones relationships, weird things happening on The Sopranos, Oz. Like it's a strange channel where weird things happen. And this is the tipping point, the straw that breaks the Chinese camel's back.
Can't insult their government.
I suppose so. Yeah.
You don't think our president would do the exact same thing?
No.
Fake news.
Yeah.
He could shut down CBS and any other late night shows if he wanted, right? But he doesn't.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. No. I think he's. I don't want to say it's a thick skin issue, but it might be.
That's what makes America great. All right, we're taking a quick break. When we come back, we have Valerie who's going to step into the hot seat and do her own interview with the Real News CN team, and to see if she has what it takes to someday cross over and move on upgrade to the RNCN side. I love the enthusiasm there. Here we go. Coming right back.
Boy, you ready to hit the freestyle ring?
There are not enough words to tell you how much I hate that kid.
He's like Chuck the toy.
Josh, he's a young, young aspiring bicyclist. All right, give him a break. He's spreading his wings to fly.
There's so much hate in his eyes.
And
I'm scared.
The first chance he gets, he elbows a kid off the thing. Like, just enjoy being a bike rider.
Right.
You're not going for the gold cup. You're not getting sponsorships. Just enjoy the ride. Plenty of track to share. Nope, not for that kid.
No.
And his dad,
hey man, that's the way you got to be. It's it's shove or be shoved in the motocross world.
So Valerie, first.
I love
question.
that kid.
I hate that kid. First question, Valerie, is do you like that kid we just saw in the video? Yes or no?
To be honest, I kind of zoned out.
Oh
what?
Boy.
Yeah,
You were paying attention?
know. I don't know.
Hey, you know what?
Say that's a fail. No, I don't agree with that at all.
You zoned out.
Screaming?
Yeah,
You
it was just
managed-
like.
It's overwhelming being in here. I understand.
I want to toss out. So this is the last round of interns that we've had. This is the fourth and final. Save the best for last for Valerie.
Yeah, of course.
She's here. This is the first time I've ever seen the people in your department comment on Facebook.
I know.
Valerie and
they
Haley
never
up
watch.
there. Yeah.
They never tune in,
do.
even though we're
Haley
on.
watches it. Yes,
No.
Haley does watch it.
They're up there and just going to town on the comments.
And they always cite that they're busy, but again, if you're so busy, like, why do you need so many interns?
Oh,
you
boy.
know, like.
Well, to be honest, I mean, I work with Val, which is social media.
Mhm.
Brian works for the video.
I was told that, you know what?
Doesn't matter.
I don't want to get in the weeds.
I don't want to know what kind of
fine.
lies were
There's a
spread.
hashtag
I
going.
I don't want video to start their own lunch break and throw shade at us like we should throw it at them. So
We all
Valerie,
know they'll fail.
Yeah, it won't be. It won't be
Big
fair.
time.
Wow.
It won't be fair.
time.
It won't be fair to have you do the RNCN test because you know all the answers. So we're going to go straight into your story.
Oh, great.
There you go. So you have 2 minutes to tell us a compelling, interesting, and fun story. Here's the twist: we saved you for last because if at any point in time we're gonna raise our hand and saying this story isn't compelling, we can buzz you out.
What? Why?
Yeah, because you've been here the longest. You have
That
the most
get buzzed
experience.
out because of that?
You could.
Right.
So you go. The challenge is on.
yeah.
Have higher
geez.
I have
expectations.
faith in you that you're gonna rock this. Ready?
Okay.
Go.
All right. So a 6-year-old had a lemonade stand and helped raise almost $13,000 for separated families.
That's good. Keep
Okay.
on-
Keep going, guys. You just look at me like,
Well, we were doing
Matt
this.
did it first, all right? She's like, a 6 math
You're fine. I'm sorry. We're very immature here.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Go
You're
ahead.
doing great.
Matt,
fine.
thanks.
Yeah.
You're
You,
welcome.
you have a minute and a half left.
Yeah.
All right. So his mother, Shannon Gagaro from Atlanta, explained to her son, what happened with the country and like how the families are being separated. And so the kid was just like, you know what, we should help raise money. And their goal was to raise $1,000, but ended up raising $13,283.
Wow.
In just a weekend, yeah. And it went from like a actual lemonade stand to a virtual lemonade stand.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, God. Sorry.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
This is too much. Don't push that button.
Finger on the
Don't. You guys are making me nervous.
Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
it's
Go ahead.
fine. It's fine. You're doing
The
great.
crucible in here.
Yeah. This is the most laughs so
Exactly.
far out of one of these. It's great.
It's what?
You're doing great.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're raising the money to donate to Races, a nonprofit organization in Texas that offers free and low-cost legal services to immigrants and refugees. And yeah, that's all I got.
All right.
Yeah.
So I guess the question I've got before Josh throws you a buzzer either way.
Yeah, I know he's gonna do it.
So, there it is.
Oh,
Hey,
thanks.
success in the desert valley. You did a great job. 16-year-olds running a lemonade stand.
Wait, 6.
6-year-old?
6-year-old.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you said 16.
No.
Oh,
That's
okay.
16? No, that's.
Well, see, that was my whole
That
topic
was-
of conversation.
Oh, that's just sad if you're
well,
16.
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, like who would see?
Thank you.
So, can we vote on? What does that mean?
Do you have
Please, it's in his house, right?
I want to agree with that
small
one.
beginning.
Well, yeah,
Let's see
that's true. I thought you
Right.
meant like a first physical office.
No, Zach's right.
Hey! There it is.
Yeah.
I did it.
Here on the lunch break show.
Hot takes.
What the actual
What is that?
I am so confused. Bro, mid-highway. This riding on the hood like it's no big deal. And there's a inside, bro. And I think they're talking to each other. Bro, she's definitely pissed at him or something. This is crazy. Holy
God.
Bro, mid 95, bro. Most dangerous highway on the planet.
Who do we dislike more? that
It's
guy
intense.
saying bro or the bike kid?
I'm gonna say the guy because of whatever he was listening to music-wise. Years ago, 45 was the most dangerous.
guy has
We're all
never
just
been
claiming
to
no
me.
passenger.
So we're joined.
If I was a cop and
It's
pulled her
too
over, I would
close,
not write
Matt,
her a
too
ticket for
close.
being in the HOV lane and drunk. I'm like, you had two people. That's
no.
legit. Yeah. To be fair.
Good God. Well done. Well done. We're joined in studio. Sorry, today's been a crazy show. Joined in
happens.
studio by Virginia. We're going to talk about some relationship things here. So a study came out of Baylor.
Have you ever driven down the highway with a boyfriend on the front hood of your car?
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh.
All
Yes.
right. Well,
Morning.
This morning, yeah. It was
Could've been
down
her.
the tollway.
That's me.
Living life on the edge.
Yeah. So Baylor has a study that came out that said you don't have to worry about being nice to your partner, which obviously caught my attention. It said just don't be a jerk. And what they come down to is it says when your partner's having a bad day or is like talking to you about issues, you don't have to necessarily be nice and like try to resolve them for the partner. Just don't be a jerk to the partner. Like what a low bar to set. Like just don't be a jerk. That's the bar.
I think some people probably need to hear that.
Definition of a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the definition?
Well, I
of a
think
jerk?
like what the thing that pops into my head is I've heard before, not me and my wife because she would never do this, but before I've heard guys go, "Oh man, my wife complains about this or complains about that," or she had a bad day at the office, or her boss is being a jerk to her. And when she talks about that every single day when you come home, they're saying you don't have to be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Let's sit down and talk for this for about 3 or 4 hours, and let you vent out all your feelings, and I'll give you a foot rub and a glass of wine." I don't think they're saying that you have to go that far. What the study is saying is just don't go like get over it. Like who cares? Stop talking. Which maybe to some people a point. It could happen if you get stuck in like the Groundhog Day, and every day your significant other comes home and says, "My boss is mean. My boss is a jerk. And I hate my boss." After a while, you're like, then leave. You're kind of get into that situation. And so what they're saying here in the study is you don't have to be nice. Just don't be a jerk.
I think you need to communicate clearly, and you can say, "Hey, it depends on how many times you've heard the story," and say, "Okay, sorry, you're having to go through all this."
Sure.
And just communicate. But yeah, I don't think you should be a jerk, right?
Yeah.
No, I think that's a fair place to jump in. Relationships are about relations and communications. That is the most integral part of it. Yeah, you got to be able to communicate effectively. And I guess I get it, right? I get the whole, you don't have to be nice, you don't have to be a jerk. Fine, but like you got to be a little nice, right? You can't just be cold and unassuming and like, sucks for you, see you around. Like, you got to be something. Right? You got to give a hug, for God's sake. And I would argue hugs are nice. So,
well, I see where that's coming from, though, where I know there are people who just want to vent. They don't necessarily want to, I don't need you to solve all my problems. I'll get through it. It's just I had a bad day and I want to say something about it to somebody, and I don't want to have to feel like, now I have to be thankful for everything that you're doing for me and all this stuff like that. I just want you to sit there and listen sometimes and not, I don't need you to solve all the problems in the world. I just need you to understand, I guess.
So you could hit pause on your video game and go, man.
Right.
Unfortunate.
Right. And
back at it.
My argument is this, is that somebody taking the time to stop and listen to you is them being nice. Just by default, because they don't have to do that. They could just go along with their day. So, like, arguably,
so that's all you got to do.
I know I'm
right?
getting caught in the weeds on the word nice, but like, yeah, you have to be nice in some form or fashion in order for this to work.
That's not being nice. That's being civil.
That's being
that's
being civil.
That's like bullshit.
I
It's
don't
just
like
that, like, just
I don't
to
like
shut
to
her up.
think
That's what that is.
the war on civility extends to the lunch break. I guess that's fair. That's being normal, sure.
Yeah.
But like, I can't go up to somebody on the subway and expect them to listen to my problems. Also, we don't have subways in Texas. I don't know why that was. I don't know where that came from.
The dark.
I want to pose a question to Virginia. When you're with someone and you've been in a relationship, we won't go into the details of it. You've been in a relationship, and when you're talking to your significant other, do you say, if he is going on and on and on and on about a day or a story, and it's the same story he tells every day, would you ever be like, you know what? You have like 4 more times you can tell me that story. Use them wisely.
Sure.
Relationship
coupon.
Is there like a way to like go, hey, we're gonna step this down a little bit to where you have 10 minutes to complain about your day, and then I want to like get into like us just like hanging out and talking. Like, is there a way to do that, or is that like kind of just you have to feel that out on your own?
That's what I was gonna. Yeah, I think you feel out First of all, what the conversation is,
Yeah.
what the topic is, how serious is it, or is it? But yeah, you want to listen to him. But I mean, if he's someone that, like you said, constantly is having an issue, having a problem, that's all you're talking about. But sometimes everybody has something in their life. It could be kids, work, another outside issue. Everybody has something at different times of the year that could be more severe, more simple, more very light. So sometimes you have to pick and choose what you're going to bitch about.
Yeah.
Some things aren't really that important to really complain, and people make a bigger deal out of something that's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, where
But
do
it's
you land
relative also.
Yeah, where do you land on this stuff? I mean,
Everything I bitch about is important.
Yeah.
There you go.
Naturally.
Simple,
Fair enough.
simple and soft.
Yeah.
That
Good
is
logic.
the
I like
the safe answer. I appreciate you coming down. Sorry, I know you got bumped around. You got to get back upstairs. So thank
Crazy
you
day.
so much for coming in. I appreciate the feedback.
Yeah,
That
sure
was
as
phenomenal insight from Virginia there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Psych 101.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
You have a
Come
good one.
right back. We're gonna have Cup Date with our very own Andy Draper. He's been drinking tequila in the
waiting in the
studio.
wings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is super sad. And we'll get into that more coming up next.
My name is Jeannie. My name is Jeannie Zenke. I turn dog hair into beautiful, wonderful things. I know what you're thinking. Man, white people just do the craziest things. One day I was brushing one of my dogs and I thought, eureka! And I picked up my drop spindle and it just kept going. And it was the easiest thing in the world. I sell items from my Etsy shop from $800 for a large dog hair sweater. It's like being wrapped up in love. Or $120 for a dog scarf. There are a lot of dog lovers who do get worried it's going to endanger dogs, but you can't farm this. The only good fiber you get from a dog is a dog that is extremely well taken care of. When people send me hair from dogs that have passed, I turn it into what they want. It gives them something to hang on to. And it's not morbid, it's comforting. I am descended from knitters and dog lovers, and I'm living my dream.
I can't tell you how many times I've ever said, I'm going to pick up my drop spindle.
Yeah. No, it's just hanging around.
I thought, well, shoot.
Yeah.
Let me grab my drop spindle.
Yeah, because I would say what makes her weird is not making the dog sweaters. That's weird. But what makes her weird is that she has a drop spindle and like a threading thing just in her house.
Just ready to go.
Just ready to go. She's like, you know what I'm going to do?
Hipsters.
I can
Yeah.
appreciate her like making hay when the sun's shining.
Yeah.
But when she walks into her house after a long day and there's like dog hair on the couch, a lot of us see that as inconvenience. She clearly sees it as like an opportunity.
She makes lemonade.
Like she said, describing
One man's
the,
trash.
Yeah, exactly. One dog's describing the dog sweater. It's like being wrapped up in love. I'm like, does that extend to just loose hair or is that in general?
Again, her eyes.
She sees it in a different way that I do, and a fair amount of people do, to be fair, because I'm not alone. It's unique, I guess. World Cup Date with Andy. Andy, welcome to the show.
Nice.
Happy to be here.
pullback. Yeah.
Solid transition.
Yeah. Because I'm going to go back for 1 second. My dog's hair stinks.
Yeah.
So how do you not get that to stink?
I guess you wash
Thoroughly
it.
washing it?
Yeah.
But still,
You got to roll
when
that.
I guess
hair-
it works. It works
Dog-
as if, it's just hair. It's not fabric.
You got to roll that into a dry cleaner at some point, and that dry cleaner is going to have no idea what to do with it. Like, how do you?
I mean, wool is just sheep hair, right? So you're just.
Can anybody
That's true.
confirm that?
I'm sure
Does
sheep
anybody know?
smell bad.
Yeah, you don't. You just.
All right.
You just like
that
shave
checks
the
out. That checks out.
Yeah, that passes the smell test.
Cup Date. This is the first time I've ever seen Andy get here early today to work. He got here bright and early, throwing some shade in Andy's way. I came in. He was sitting in the cafeteria area because that's where they have the two screens downstairs for Cup Date. He was watching Mexico and Sweden. And then Amanda came in, and they got the Germany and
South Korea
on screen. So Germany is the defending world champions.
That's right. They won the cup. They've won it 4 times.
And Mexico is a solid team. I don't know if they were supposed to win both of these games, but I haven't heard much about South Korea having a dominant team. Are they fairly good?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's a pleasure just to be nominated. You know, it's an honor to be nominated.
And
they're better than the U.S. right now.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Touche. And then Sweden, I guess they were doing fairly well in their division because they seemed to be they had 3 points, so they were like third.
Wow. Well, let me back up to the weekend. So Sweden played Germany, and they were about to tie. Had about 30 seconds left in the game, and out of nowhere, Germany scores with about 15 seconds left, and the bar I was in went nuts. Amanda did a lap around. She was screaming. It was so exciting. And that's why we watch. We watch for the drama, for the triumph, for the tragedies.
Sure.
Mexico soundly defeated South Korea over the weekend as well, and they were leading their group. So today, for Germany to move on, they needed a win, and they needed Sweden to lose. Neither of those things happened. Sweden soundly defeated Mexico 3-0, and South Korea defeated Germany 2-0 in stoppage time.
Wow.
So Germany is out, South Korea is out, and Mexico and Sweden are in. And I have a short update on the rest of the teams. And now this next round, as we finish group play, is into the once you lose, you're out. So into the knockout round.
Elimination.
So into the next round is France will play Argentina, Uruguay, and Portugal. That should be a great game. Uruguay has won all 3 of their group games. Spain and Russia will play, and Croatia and Denmark, and Mexico and Sweden, of course, are in the next round. We don't know who they're playing next. Mexico will be playing on Monday.
They just don't know who yet?
I think whoever plays this afternoon, which I believe is Switzerland, Brazil, and whatever group that is, the winners of those, who they will play.
Obviously, congratulations to Anna. Portugal is in.
Yeah,
I know. She's been following thoroughly. And your husband, France, is in.
Yep.
So
on Saturday is going to be a solid day of watching the World Cup.
Is there a chance that France and Portugal play each other?
They did on the European Cup.
I mean, in the World Cup.
Yes, they could meet again. France will play Argentina. Argentina generally has a very strong team. They have not played very well.
They have not played well, yeah.
But they did get into the next round. I don't think that they will defeat France. So they could meet up again.
If your husband, because he actually is into watching
he is.
Soccer,
he does watch.
Yeah. So if he's in there, do you have to kind of like root for France? If you're watching, you can root for...
I just won't say anything. That's what I'll do. I just kind of like, oh yay! That's all I do.
It's like me in every sport I've ever seen on television.
Exactly.
He did a thing.
Give me a
Way to go!
five.
Yeah, you've kicked the ball.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to it as it gets closer to there's the final rounds. I'll be more involved in the process.
Right. A lot of times the quarterfinal and the semifinals, a lot of times are even more exciting than the last game. By the time you get there, it's usually very good defensive teams, and it's usually not that exciting, but you never know. A good team could crumble, underdog could triumph, and that's why we watch.
So if you were going to put a cash bet on Mexico, what would your cash bet be?
To
win it all?
No, I don't think they'll win it all. I think they can probably get past this round into that would be the quarterfinal, I believe, top 8. But yeah, they got a lot of good teams. England has been playing very well. Usually they barely sneak into the second round. And then who else is playing? There's a lot of great teams still left.
That's where you and I are different, because if I'm rooting for a team, it is blind love. The Cowboys.
This is going to be the year.
The Cowboys will win the Super Bowl this year. It's done. Go ahead and set the date. And that's how, when America got into the World Cup last year, I'm like, yep, they're going to win the whole thing.
They're going all the way.
Yeah, going all the way. No one's going to stop them. They're going to be the comeback kid. Just you wait.
Yeah. By the way, Josh, who are you rooting for?
I guess in this situation, I played some FIFA on the PS4.
There you go.
And I picked all the countries I had been to. And so I have spent the most time in Spain. So I'm going to be rooting for Spain to win.
Can't argue about those numbers. Those are solid numbers.
Hey,
yeah.
I have the most connection with Spain. I spent a whole week and a day.
8 days
in
Nice.
Spain. Yeah, 8 days in Spain.
I'm
so.
disappointed. You're working with a Portuguese person.
But you don't care.
This is like bigger than
If
being
you were
in the
if you were
country for a
bleeding
week.
if you were bleeding like a fan of Portugal and you bled whatever their colors are, I think red, white, and blue. If you bled those, is that right?
Red,
green,
and yellow.
Oh, what a lovely
Well, you were close.
combination.
Delightful.
The traffic
Yeah.
light country.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
never saw that like
so if you were like wearing the jersey, then I would obviously root for Portugal to win. But since you're like, nah, if it's on, I'll be like,
Fair.
yay, they did a thing. Then I'm gonna root for Spain.
Yeah, you're not patriotic enough, man. That's really what the problem is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here in America. So.
All right, before we go, since I did tease this on Facebook, and it's been a
please.
crazy day, I'm going to add a little stoppage time to the show because we
Good.
started a little late.
Nice.
I just wanted to bring up an issue I ran into earlier today. I took a phone call, and I walked out to the little hallway here by our studios.
Sure.
And as I'm on the phone call, I'm hearing this, the telltale snip, 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 as someone walks around the corner, and there's a guy walking down the hall, a public hallway, clipping his fingernails with a fingernail clipper.
No That's horrific.
As he's walking down the hallway.
You lie. That happened here?
That happened here. Yes. Now I didn't recognize the gentleman.
Did you call the police? Did you call the police?
I did not. I did not get the authorities involved yet. Yet I did. I did take a very a good look at his face so I could recognize him if I ever saw him again. But yeah, I just wanted to talk a minute about the etiquette of clipping your nails and should you ever do this in public.
So.
Yeah, who wants to jump on this?
I will say I'll come out because I am. I'll pull a Zach and I'll be. I have done this.
Okay.
I am an offender. I haven't done it in public, but I've done it in a shared workspace.
Okay.
I've cut my nails in my studio
Guilty.
back when I was at iHeart. I cut my nails in my studio.
I thought I was going to say this studio.
We're going to start scouring the floor.
Don't scare me like that.
Never walk.
No. Right.
I cut my nails, and at that time, I had a person who used my studio after me. It was technically my studio, but he used it after me. Because he liked the room sound or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he did the most passive-aggressive thing I've ever seen. That he went and he like found all of them that were on the desk because I threw a lot of them away. I threw a lot of them away.
Swept them up.
Some of them had like popped up
Souvenir.
because I didn't have like fingernail clippers, so I had to use scissors. Like get them done.
It's even worse.
Yeah, I went full like dorm room.
You
like,
couldn't wait till you got home and
They were bad. They were
All
getting
right,
bad. I had to get
sure.
them trimmed up. I always forget. So there you go. Scissors.
right. You're at work. You notice it. Yeah.
So they had gone in places I didn't see. I got most of them up and threw them away.
These are work scissors, weren't they?
Yeah,
Of course.
Yeah, well, I'm not using my own scissors for that. And so he had found over the last few months, I guess some had gone past certain places I didn't look. He had scooped them all up into a pile and put it right in the middle.
I like his style.
Yeah.
I was like, so what I did, I left them there.
Of course.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's dance that dance and see who
breaks first.
He threw them away that afternoon.
To be fair, like that's almost classic radio shenanigans. Of course you left them there. Like anybody at a radio station would leave them there. That's what you do. Yeah, those are the shenanigans you expect.
Two can play at this game.
Yeah. I feel bad for the janitor. Somebody's gonna walk by with a broom and a dustpan and sweep it up and go to pour it out, and they're gonna see a fingernail clipping in there.
Why
My God.
is everyone so weird about
It's right
fingernails?
up there with like a used Band-Aid. Like
No, it's not.
It is.
A used Band-Aid has like DNA on
That
there.
is
It's blood.
DNA.
That is, it's part of your body.
If Matt had gotten some kind of vinyl gloves and picked up one of those, you could have given it to a cop and they could have identified the perp.
I could have cloned that human being.
Direct evidence. Like that is a piece of a person. It is not to be trifled with, right? It's
No.
gross.
It's one of those weird things that people have. Like, if you're fine shaking my hand with my fingernails on my hand. The moment I cut my fingernails off, it is the most vile and disgusting
Is it
thing.
too much? Is it too much to ask to not leave part of your body behind on me?
Yeah.
Sir? Can I ask you not to do that?
You find it in your food, all of a sudden it's a problem.
Right. Like, and it's not quite like human hair because one, hair is a lot less noticeable, and two, you wash your hair pretty regularly.
Well, and
Whereas
also there's
fingernails,
nothing.
like I mean
Yeah.
I'm pretty good about it, but I'm sure there are people out there who aren't like scrubbing their nails in the shower
Like,
or anything.
I'm not gonna get mad at somebody if their hair, if a piece of their hair falls out, or like a
Right, that
you know,
you can control.
you can't really control that.
You have
It-
a
it
million
happens.
of them. It
My
happens to
fingernails are
everyone.
not shooting off of my hand onto every surface in this studio.
Yeah, sure.
Again, I realized that my wife's online saying "ooh, gross." I realized that it's not a I think I wouldn't do like in front of people, but I thought I have this studio. It's my studio. It's my personal space.
Was the guy standing or walking?
He was walking. He was like on his way down
he
the
had
hallway.
like a gate, and he was walking and
That's
clipping.
impressive.
And
Yeah.
look, yeah,
Dude,
This is
and
impressive.
I did this. I was on the phone. I was sitting here talking, and I did this thing where I make eye contact with the guy because I see him coming. He's clipping his nails. I'm looking right in his eyes. He looks at me, and he keeps going.
Yep.
He's still clipping. I'm like, the
Played
dude
chicken
has,
with you.
He has no shame. Like he beat me. He beat me this day.
It's disgusting because you know he's done it before. He
Oh,
has to.
yeah, he's
that
got
is,
no
that is
problem
not
with
his
it.
first
Yeah,
time
no problem with it
strolling in
whatsoever.
public, clipping his DNA off.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have anything to grandstand on here. It's gross. It's gross. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable.
No.
People like that should be publicly shamed as much as possible, like
I
on the
have.
lunch break. Yeah,
But
it's
especially
true.
that
You've
he's
done your due diligence.
They're just going everywhere in the hallway. It's not like he was collecting them. I don't think.
Exactly.
No, you can't control
Oh,
that.
God.
Yeah. How diligent are you when you're clipping your nails about tracking those down?
When I'm at home, I do them over a trash can.
Okay. Sure.
Or-
and
or
hopefully
trash
they
can
all,
or sink.
hopefully they
Yeah.
all land in the receptacle.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I do it over a trash can or over a sink.
Sure.
And then same thing when I say trim. It's not a beard, but when I trim my facial hair, I do it over the sink as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shaving makes sense. For trimming, I do it somewhere where I know I can keep track of any clippings and then deposit them in said trash can.
Yeah.
You gotta track them all down. Don't just flying all over the
To be
place.
fair, I was
landing
trying
in the studio.
As I'm going. When you're with scissors, it's not precision. You can't like precision outline. It's just it's Edward Scissorhands. They're all over the place. They go flying.
I guess.
So
I
have
feel like when you do the clip, I mean, it's kind of a spring motion. There's a snap. It flies. Scissors are like, it's much more precise. I would think there'd be a little bit more.
Yeah, you could stop
Challenge
before you get to the
accepted.
very end.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Try cutting your nails
Well, we're
with scissors.
talking with there's scissors for your nails. If you're gonna do with any working scissors, paper scissors, of course,
Yeah.
that's gonna be like all over the place. You're not gonna have
Yeah.
control. So.
Well, yeah, I didn't go out and buy nail scissors. These were like meant for paper, which I
Oh,
never
man.
used. Who ever uses scissors anymore at a workplace?
I'm just curious as to what your fingernails look like after that.
Oh, they were
Yeah.
a butchered mess for
Really
sure, but
jagged.
they were close.
Yeah.
They weren't. I didn't have like a white French manicure showing.
Scratch your back just
Can't
right.
wait to have my lunch now.
Yeah, there you guys go. And then one comment I did see in here. A friend of mine, we went to Mexico, and we were in Mexico for like almost 2 weeks. So Mexico it is.
That's right.
Mexico's the
She
one.
reminded me
Yep.
of Mexico, so there you go. Viva la
Fair.
Mexico! Win the whole thing.
Play 'em on Monday.
Yeah.
You can do it.
You can. Yeah, you can do it. There you go.